guys, welcome back to another video. This is another week in Sportsball. This week in Sportsball NFL Week 12 edition by Urinating Tree. This has been getting suggested a lot. I'm looking at the time, and this is the longest one I think I've ever done. So obviously a lot's happened in the past week, but in terms of the suggestions that I've been getting for this, there's been so many. Probably the most suggested I have had to do the Sportsball. When it comes to this, I'm always going to do the reactions, but when I see a lot of suggestions, it gets me a lot more sort of intrigued as to what's actually happened. But I've seen a few things on Twitter involving I've seen a few things in the last week involving the NFL, but in terms of being clued up, I'm going to be pretty I'm not very sort of sure. I don't know fully what's been going on the last week, so I'm intrigued to see why this has been so highly suggested, but we're gonna see. I'm guessing there's gonna be some teams getting memed hard, but we're gonna see. But let's just get into this and see what he talks about in this video. Quick shout out to my Instagram and my Twitter. Links in the description for those interested. I interact with people a lot easier on there. It's still hard because I get so many messages, but I do try to talk to people as much as possible. So if you're interested in that, links are in the description for those two, Instagram and Twitter, my accounts for them. But let's get into this and see what John Boy has for us today. John Boy? Urinating Tree. I need to call him Tree. What Tree has for us today. John Boy.
I'm pissed off. There's not a... Will you shut up and let me answer?
I said John Boy because I've just reacted to his video a second ago, for God's sake.
The hell are you looking at? Expected something here? It's my bye week. I don't care if you want sports ball, I'm on vacay. Just shoot. Go somewhere else. There are plenty of other quality content creators on this platform that will be happy to gain your viewership. I'm going to be like the Lions on Thanksgiving. Put some half-assed effort out there and proceed to get exposed in front of a national audience. Do you remember when Matt Patricia was hailed as a defensive mastermind? Yeah, I thought it was bullshit too.
The Lions put on a defensive clinic last Thursday against a beleaguered Texans offense, and honestly a lot of other teams could learn a thing or two from them. I'll give you a quick example. This was from early in the second quarter. Detroit was leading by 1 at this point in the game, and the Lions seemed to be showing a cover 1 hole look here against an empty set from Houston, which is a pretty standard coverage for them. But what's interesting about it is that in reality, this is not a cover 1, and it's actually a really exotic look from their playbook that they call cover 0. People. It's a variation of cover none, which they also run quite frequently, but this look is even more effective for them because it allows Detroit to get absolutely blasted on defense each and every week while still looking like they're trying. There is no more effective way to get your terrible head coach fired than by being bad at your jobs while still giving the illusion of effort, and I'll say this was a masterclass by the Detroit defense in that regard. And it worked too. Matt Patricia got fired a couple days later, so mission accomplished there. Houston got a win. Miami fans are pissed that their draft pick got just a little bit worse. Honestly, everything's great. I have nothing to be mad about.
So you could spin it however you want, make whatever excuse you want. His career for this season, his season is over.
Oh, come on, mother...
Remember when I said I was on vacation? I unfortunately lied. To anyone that's followed the Lions in passing over the past 2 years, the Thanksgiving massacre isn't a surprise. Detroit has been an incompetently run organization for years, and it all culminated against another imploding team in Houston. The team had no choice. It came a year too late, but the Lions have hopefully seen the light. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn have been fired. Detroit, you've just won the Super Bowl. Remember when Quinn said that 9-7 was unacceptable when they fired the mediocre Jim Caldwell? He was right. They needed to be much worse to maintain stale narratives. You could see it in the bad free agent signings and iffy drafts, in deluding themselves into thinking they were relevant. It's the shit I've been saying about this team for years. Skinning the Patriots alive to build a team doesn't fucking work. The only way to succeed is to modify it or have pieces already in place. If you don't, there's nothing to maintain the foundations. And that's where we get to Matt Patricia. Take Belichick, make him more aggressive, in-your-face and confrontational. There's only one way you can get away with doing this in the NFL. It's if you win. If not, you just come off as this arrogant blowhard who pisses off the locker room. You could see this coming from a mile away. I knew this guy was going to be a terrible head coach from the moment he was hired. You know why? Look at his defenses. For an alleged savant, they gave up endless yardage and points, had piss-poor technique and fundamentals, and he was insanely stubborn in keeping with man coverage. Look at how well the Patriots defense did in 18 and 19 when he was gone. That's all you need to see. This dude's a fucking hack. They both are. Now they'll flee back to a Patriot cast-off land as the Ford family hopefully sells this team to competent ownership. Just you watch, they'll try and throw everything to get Jim Harbaugh back into the fold. It'll make sense, but Lions fans will fucking hate it.
Oh, here we go, the Thanksgiving game, yeah. Thanksgiving. This guy, man. This guy.
Dallas, will you ever not be a spectacular shit show of a franchise? Being slaughtered by the name redacted is one thing, but my only thought is that the Cowboys overloaded on tryptophan. All I need is one play. Let's dig in. The Cowboys are down by 4 early in the fourth quarter. They are at their own 24-yard line. Unsuccessfully converting thoughts into yardage, the Cowboys line up to punt. But this is Mike McCarthy, and McCarthy is a born-again analytic. This is where the genius sets in. They snap to the running back, where he runs backwards. What could be happening here, you wonder? A reverse. The wide receiver pulling back 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, where Washington is so fooled that they have 2 players immediately reading the play. The punter wisely believes the blocking isn't in his contract, so he runs past a defender. Maybe he was expecting a pass? The runner is now at his own 15 with 3 defenders at the line of scrimmage and more on the way. He is fucked. Heroically sacrificed for a 1-yard loss. Rommel would be proud of such tactical wizardry. The football team embraces this generosity and turns the game into a slaughter. The moral of this 500 IQ play? Mike McCarthy needs to be fired immediately. With my handy-dandy Dallas extractor, we can see the thoughts of a distraught Cowboys fan being smacked by reality.
So over this season. How hard is it to stop check down? Alex Smith is not good. Just stop the check down. Turn out the lights. So we're tanking again. The party's over.
Don't worry, Scooter. The Cowboys can always win the Super Bowl in Madden. Much to my dismay, the NFL is also refusing the Steelers of much-needed rest. Not from anything they're doing, but by that wonderful fucker known as Corona Chan. Baltimore isn't just suspect in terms of its recent performances, but they've been wrecked by a COVID outbreak. Over 20 cases on the team so far. Some of the bigger names claimed: Mark Ingram, Pernell McPhee, Mark Andrews, Matthew Judon, and Lamar Jackson. Jackson is ineligible for Pittsburgh if it's even played. Note I said if. This game was supposed to be a distraction from the food coma of Thursday night. No such luck. First push back to Sunday. And then Tuesday night. And who the hell knows after. Pittsburgh is really getting screwed, to be honest, and there's nothing they can do about it. Tough shit. Deal. You okay, Steelers?
Once again, the Falcons do what the Falcons do and only decide to show up to the football game when it doesn't matter. The Falcons defeated the Raiders in a remarkable show without even Julio Jones. Makes you wonder why they can't do this early on in the season, or why they decide to do it now when it's just hurting draft stock. It's nice being a Falcons fan.
Two
he's a
high-flying
Falcons fan as well. Oh,
two
pain.
defenses riddled with injuries and inconsistencies.
Hey.
Two teams looking for something to prove. You'd assume that you'd have all the ingredients for an air raid showdown that hasn't been seen since the end of World War II. Well, you won't be getting that. Instead, you'll be getting front row tickets to a theatrical display of incompetence in 2 acts. Act 1 is a glorious display of punting that would make Kareem Hunt blush and penalties that would make Bill Belichick come. Any spark of offense on either side was virtually non-existent. What was that? You made an actual play? No, you're gonna get called back for literally nothing. Seriously, is this taunting? Really? Forget Phantom of the Opera. You're going to be getting Phantom roughing the passer all game. Act 2 becomes a reenactment of Romeo and Juliet, in which both teams decided to kill themselves for each other, and failing. No one wanted the ball, except Austin Eckler, who was the entire Chargers offense. You wanted to win this game, Lynn? You need to learn about clock management. They're making Justin Herbert look like Matthew Stafford out there. That's not a good thing. And now it is time for the obligatory "Fuck you, Spanos!"
Indianapolis, are you familiar at all with the Mongolian Horde? I'm only asking since they're riding straight towards your village and are hungry for blood. They'll give your leaders a proposition to save everyone. Join the Titans or die. King Henry demands fealty from all his subjects. Why should the Colts submit, they ask? They are tied with them for the division lead. Tennessee can't raise their lands, the elders believe. You do know what happens when King Henry is rejected, right? There is hell to pay. The screams of thousands are silenced by the sounds of bones being crushed under the Titan cavalry. Outright destruction is the punishment for their mistake. Indianapolis thought they had a chance
dirty,
today.
mate.
Not with Derrick Henry leading the charge. The Titans maintain division supremacy as the Colts tend to the mutilated citizens. To King Henry, they're just another statistic.
Boy, he was on fire. Good handball again. I love when this bit pops
Hello,
up so
Sportsball
much.
fans. You are looking live from Cincinnati, Ohio, where the Bengals and the Giants faced off on Sunday. My name is Cole Adams, and today I'm going to give you the breakdown of what happened between the Giants and the Bengals. Starting off the game, the Giants marched all the way down the field, and Wayne Gallman scored. And then right after that, the Giants kicked it off to the Bengals, and the Bengals, rocking these beautiful uniforms, one of the best in the NFL, ran this kick all the way back for a touchdown.
Oh,
right here,
stop
I had a little
it,
bit of
bro.
live footage of it, had to grab my camera really quickly, and that tied the game 7-7. This
That's
game was a little bit of a
nice.
snooze fest,
That's
but it was
nice.
cool still being at an NFL game during 2020. It's nice that the Bengals at least allow fans, even though they really don't have any. And basically this was a field goal battle between Fat Randy and Graham Gano, and then the Giants and Bengals went into the halftime tied at 10 apiece. And if the game couldn't get worse enough, Daniel Jones went down with a hamstring injury, so Colt McCoy had to come in. And then there was a fight between a Giants and a Bengals fan near me in the stands. But like I said, it was a kicking battle, and Graham Gano scored 3 more field goals for the Giants to put them up 19-10. But the Bengals still had some fight in them, and Brandon Allen finally got them to the end zone, and this game was very close. It got to 19-17, and the Bengals even got the ball back at the very end of the game for one last drive for a field goal, but Brandon Allen fumbled the ball, and the Bengals would lose the game 19-17. And since Bengals fans don't want to support Mike Brown, the Giants fans around me were loving it. And then after the game, I tried to film an outro, but my camera died, so then I tried it on my iPhone, but I hated how it looked. So congratulations to 5 Points Vids on the Giants winning. Your 4-7 New York Giants lead the NFC least. Press F in the chat for Flimlo Raps on the Bengals losing, but that will do it from Cincinnati. Thank you, Urinating Tree, for having me on. And this was your Giants-Bengals recap live from Paul Brown Stadium.
2 terrible teams, draft positioning on the line. Why, yes, it's a tank bowl.
Oh, it's a different one this time.
Hold on, we're getting information that the Giants are actually playing for first place in the NFC East. The previously 1-7 G-Men have a chance at the playoffs and are gifted a matchup with the 1-7-1 Joe Burrow-less Bungles? Why? What is this? Hope? Optimism? Oh, cue round ball rock. Yes, the Giants won, but with Colt fucking McCoy at the helm and us actually missing Danny Derps, with the schedule increasingly becoming more difficult, this was a Pyrrhic victory. Let us all rejoice in our 1 week of optimism, because you'll be laughing at me for the rest of the year. Pain.
So much for my vacation. The guy conscripted for this one bailed on me. I don't blame him. Would you want to recap the Jets? Perhaps I will make this one a
That's so mean.
collaborative effort like Adam Gase does offensive play calling. This segment is now as ruined as Sam Darnold's development under this regime. As Woody Johnson enjoys tea time playing pretend inept bureaucrat overseas, the quest for imperfection lives on. Miami gets a free win for 7-4. Hold on a second, did I say that correctly?
The Browns versus the Jags. With a combined 1 playoff appearance in the last 13 seasons, this usually equates to the battle of the greatest tankers in NFL history. But 2020 is different. The world had to seemingly crash and burn before the Browns were a winning football team, as they are out to their best start in my 25-year-old life. This is uncharted territory for us Browns fans.
Jeez.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Was this Week 12 game good? Not really. Was Baker Mayfield that impressive?
Mayfield a fake into the end zone. White had his man wide open, and he missed him.
Overall, this was a game that even the most die-hard of fans will forget. However, here's what's interesting. If you go back just 3 years ago, this exact matchup took place, but in reverse. The Jags were out to their best start in a decade, and the Browns finished 0-16. If you want to tell me that Baker Mayfield's bad, just please go watch Deshaun Kaiser that year. I beg of you. But by far the most interesting part of the 2017 season was how far Jacksonville got. They won the AFC South, hung on against Buffalo in the wild card, shocked Pittsburgh in the divisional round, and then look at this. In the AFC Championship, in Foxborough against Belichick and Brady, Blake Bortles had the ball and the lead with just over 5 minutes remaining.
Ball here. Here they go. Picked up the blitz.
Of course, they just missed on this pass, and the Pats would go score. But it wasn't over. They still had one more chance.
But they were so close then to beat the Patriots.
If this pass was perfect, Leonard Fournette is most likely scoring. But it's Blake Bortles.
Lofts it. Fournette was
there. Mate.
Stepping up and throwing, and it is knocked down by Gilmore.
It's pretty wild to think how much things have changed in just 3 years. Blake Bortles has been riding the bench for 2 seasons elsewhere, and Jacksonville has entered full rebuild mode, while the 0-16 Browns have turned into a playoff contender.
Yes, roles reversed completely.
How will this regime in Cleveland fare in the foreseeable future? Considering what they've already done, pretty good if you ask me.
But I think that's
Sportsball. It is I.
For me, that's the beauty of American sports. You can have these sort of teams that do bits, and then a few years later they can be one of the worst teams in the league. Vice versa, a team that can be like one of the worst teams in the league and suddenly become a contender. That's what, for me, the beauty of American sports is. You just have these unpredictable sort of scenarios where these random teams, or like these teams you don't expect to do well, just come up and do crazy things. And that's just the excitement for the. That's just why I enjoy American sports, because it's completely different to like soccer. Because like in terms of the Premier League, you have the top teams who always just seem to stay on top, and then the other teams just sort of come and go, like through relegation, etc. So I do really enjoy that from American sports.
One of the only remaining Jaguars fans, Emperor Lemon, currently marooned here on Tank Island. So anyway, can this year get any worse for the Jags? 2020, am I right? I'm being facetious, of course. This season has gone about the same as almost every other season for the Jags this past decade. They're at least one downward spiral you can't blame on 2020. Yeah, it's officially another double-digit loss season for the Jags. As usual, the team is in a dead heat for the worst record in the league, with only the Jets to beat in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. I really thought the refs were going to make us blow this game and actually win, but thankfully we clutched it out in the end by failing that 2-point conversion. I'm sure come 2021, the Jags will make the most of their top draft pick and get a solid franchise quarterback. Ha!
Never heard that one before.
Let's be honest though, the top 2 QBs in this draft are doomed to get completely ruined by these awful teams. And 10 years from now, Kyle Trask will be dominating the league after dodging all the dumpster fire franchises and getting drafted by an actually decent organization in the late first round. I seriously don't understand why Jacksonville is even allowed to have a pro football team. We're literally the smallest major sports market in America. The NFL may as well have given a franchise to Bismarck, South Dakota. The Jaguars don't even have limited capacity seating at their home games. These are just all the people they could get to show up. Just like with YouTube Rewind, no one would mark South Dakota.
Let's see that again.
The Jaguars don't.
Oh my god! I mean, obviously with COVID, you aren't allowed loads of people, but I assume there's probably more people that could have came.
Have limited capacity seating at their home games. These are just all the people they could get.
Oh my god, that is horrific. That's got to be like what, 200 people? Maybe not even that.
To show up. Just like with YouTube Rewind, no one would really be upset if they just took the rest of the Jags season and canceled it. They better hurry too. We lost another quarter of the fan base after I was forced to eat one of them for Thanksgiving.
And now Dave Caldwell has finally been axed. I still don't get why the hell they didn't fire him last year instead of allowing him to further tank trade values. Doug Marrone is literally a dead man walking. Black Monday will come for his head eventually, and he knows it. Caldwell is another symptom of the disease, but a big one at that. 4 years after Jacksonville hit rock bottom, they're back at that point again. Get the hell out of my sight.
That edit again.
Hello, everyone. If you've come for a good time, please find
this is a collab episode.
Because I'm about to make things 100 times more sad. I'm Dan, and I'm a very sad man. And I've been summoned to recap the mediocre bore fest that was sure to be Panthers vs. Vikings. Now, being a Carolina football fan, I've had my fair share of disappointment. So I show up every Sunday with my armor on, ready to get slaughtered. This week, no exception. After being gifted two fumbles returned for touchdowns by Jeremy Chin to go up 21-10, what would be the most Panther thing to do? What about the offense completely shutting down and the defense allowing Kirk Cousins to push it back within 3? Sad. Then, when they're at the goal line, fail to run the ball in and try for a pass attempt, stop the clock, give the Vikings offense some more time to answer, and of course, Kirk Cousins turns into John Elway for 2 minutes, and the Carolina secondary gives all sorts of room for Kyle Rudolph to single-handedly take the lead. Depressing. Even some last-minute heroics from Teddy Bridgewater couldn't salvage the game. Because the last-minute field goal, to win it, wide right, by a lot. Bemused. That was a tough ask of Sly. And the blame shouldn't fall on him, but to the entire team for blowing it. And I guess, give credit to Randolph, Cousins, and the Vikings.
It's an honor to commentate over the very first football game in which both teams happen to lose. Because despite for throwing for single-digit completions, with a 50% completion percentage, double-digit yardage, and no touchdowns with 2 interceptions, and a 23.6 passer rating, Cam Newton seems to think that the reason why the New England Patriots won was because of him. Yes, despite looking like the ghost of Blake Bortles in a Patriots jersey, Cam Newton hit us with the "I don't play this game for individual accolades, I play this game to win." And the Patriots happened to win, despite Cam Newton throwing a fourth quarter interception directly to Drake Kirkpatrick, which Cam Newton happened to do on purpose because he had a feeling that Zane Gonzalez was garbage and was going to miss a 45-yard field goal yet again. His 5th missed field goal of the season. At this point, Cam Newton would get bailed out by an unnecessary roughness penalty, and the Patriots were able to hit the game-winning field goal to win the game. This was the Cardinals' game to win, and the one thing that screwed them over the most was Cliff Kingsbury's conservative play calling. Honestly, hindsight's 20/20, and I guess if they did kick a field goal from the 1-yard line, then we probably would have been saying the opposite about them. But make no mistake here, the New England Patriots by no means were the better team today. Cliff Kingsbury was just simply outcoached by Bill Belichick with one arm tied behind his back. Now, to Cliff Kingsbury's credit, he is improving, but at the end of the day, both of these teams lost. The Arizona Cardinals physically lost the game and are now 6-5, while the New England Patriots...
my God. Okay, that is wild. He just got absolutely smacked. God damn.
Were the better team today.
It's a crazy
Kingsbury
run,
was just simply outcoached by Bill Belichick with one arm tied behind his back. Now, to Cliff Kingsbury's credit, he is improving, but at the end of the day, both of these teams lost. The Arizona Cardinals physically lost the game and are now 6-5, while the New England Patriots are kind of validating the fact that Cam Newton is their quarterback and are getting further and further away from a position where they could draft to be their new quarterback. A moment of silence for the fact that Cam Newton and Kyler Murray combined for 3 interceptions and 0 touchdowns.
Me and the 30 other Rams fans across this country are absolutely outraged with this outcome. Talk about turnovers galore. A combined 7 turnovers between these two teams, but it was one of those frustrating yet entertaining ugly games that you see from time to time. For the second season in a row, the Rams will be swept by the 49ers. Even with a solid 7-4 record, the Rams have been falling into trap games throughout the entire season, as well as inconsistent play on offense. The defense can only bail us out for so long, and until something changes on the offensive side of the ball, the best we can hope for is at least making the playoffs. Goff is getting elite money, the least you could do is give me elite performance. On a side note, RIP to the late Jim Hannafin, one of the greatest O-line coaches in NFL history. Helping man the greatest show on turf's O-line in St. Louis, he was a major part in getting that Super Bowl. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to him, man.
Hello, Tree. Must be nice to be undefeated, because here in Denver, we're worshiping a practice squad wide receiver who was forced to play quarterback with less than 24 hours notice. He is a damn hero in Denver because he sacked up, stepped up, 3D, handled his shit like a man, and completed exactly 1 pass in an NFL game. Now, we can agree we both hate the NFL right now. I for forcing the Broncos to play without a fucking quarterback, and you for watching them placate your opponents every other week, only to see NBC demand a Wednesday 3:40 start time so it didn't interfere with the 88th Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Well, actually, during a year where it feels like Jesus has abandoned all of us, maybe some shiny lights will get his attention. Help. You know how I know the Broncos got screwed with the Kevin Costner Yellowstone-sized dong? Because I've got Raiders fans, Chiefs fans, and a ton of Saints fans in my comments telling me they thought the Broncos got shafted. Instead of their usual, you still think Drew Lock is a franchise QB? Zingers. But my takeaway is this. I will never, ever say I can play quarterback in the NFL again, not even for the purpose of satire. Kendall Hinton, an athlete in peak physical condition who played some quarterback at Wake Forest, was able to, again, complete one pass in a game that can only be described as a Greek tragedy inside of a snuff film. What perplexes me even more is the Broncos have a better fucking record than the Chargers. Justin Herbert is poised to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's setting rookie passing records, surpassing guys like Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes, and they can't close out a game. Denver has started 4 different quarterbacks this season, have literally played the last few games without any starters on their defensive line, don't have Von Miller, don't have their best wide receiver, and I am somehow still thankful I'm not a Chargers fan. Fuck Spanos. Oh, I've always wanted to do that here. Fuck Spanos.
Buccaneers Chiefs. Another duel between the half-billion-dollar wonder kid and the geriatric goat now trying to thrive in a deep ball offense. Results have been mixed. Fortunately, though, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill were kind enough to show exactly what a deep ball offense looks like, cooking poor Carlton Davis into barbecue chicken for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that was just the first quarter. So it looked like this game would be a 60-minute beatdown at the hands of Tyreek. But surprisingly, Tampa figured out that man-to-man against the fastest guy in football is kind of a bad idea. In fact, adjustments that seemed obvious to everyone turned the blowout into an actual competition. And once Tampa's offense moved away from just saying, fuck it, Mike Evans is down there somewhere, and instead let Brady play his brand of football, the Bucs were able to pull the game within a field goal. But when you're up against Reed and Mahomes, one half of good football is just not going to cut it. So the Chiefs roll on, and Tampa will desperately try to gain some kind of identity during their bye. But hey, at least Brady shaking Mahomes' hand should keep the news cycle at bay for around 72 hours.
Oh.
This is a really featuring, episode,
you
isn't
want
it?
something from me, Tree? Oh, funny. Funny. Because if I recall, last week, Packer fans were the, how'd you put it? The lol cow of the week?
Is he the Packer fan?
The lol cow. Do you know how many mentions I got on Instagram in the comments on my channel that I was a lol cow? You know I had to look that up on Urban Dictionary? And you know what it said? Nothing good, Tree. Nothing good. And now you're asking me to do a recap here? Fine.
I like this guy.
Because I'm a professional.
I like this guy a lot.
I'm going to do it. Here's your recap. The Green Bay Packers kicked the ever-living crap out of the Chicago Bears 41-25. And I know you're waiting for your snarky comment. I know you're waiting for your sass. I can hear it in my ears. You'll be like, oh, you beat Mitch Trubisky. Congratulations. Hey, no, we beat that defense. They still have a good defense. Oh, but they didn't have Akeem Hicks. You aren't anything special. You know what, Tree? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the back talk. I'm tired of the disrespect that you're showing the Green Bay Packers. You know what? At least we played a game. At least we played a game in Week 12. Where are the Steelers? What are they doing? I'm recording this on a Monday. Not playing the game on Tuesday. Maybe you play it on Wednesday. At least the Green Bay Packers can stick to a schedule. And that schedule usually involves a running back running down their throat. But that's besides the point, Trey. Okay? So I want it to be known that the Green Bay Packers are not the lol cow of the week. They're not. Maybe the Broncos. They didn't even have a quarterback. Sorry, Perna. Or maybe the Ravens. Ravens, you don't like the Ravens. Maybe they could be lol cows.
Well, I said Broncos fan. I meant he's I swear I meant a Packers fan. I don't know what team I said before. I think I said the wrong team. It's gonna get caught up in the comments.
No lol cows here though.
Allow me to quote a wiser man in this situation. I hate the fucking Eagles. Everything about what they show on display every week is insulting to the game itself. Now, many of you will put most of the blame on the fallen messiah named Wentz. And he is not blameless, but most of this shit isn't his fault. Philadelphia has no offensive line due to injuries. In their universe, Alshon Jeffrey is still in 2017 form. They can't run the damn ball due to a combination of poor talent and idiocy. Their head coach is Doug Peterson, whose tactical genius leads to them putting Jalen Hurts in for all of one throw. He then chucks Wentz back in to pad his sack totals. You can't make this shit up. Neither can you make up the Eagles' defensive coordinator ripping on the guy they passed on for a scrub. DK took it personally. It's enough for Seattle to gain distance on their rivals. If I'm Philly, I fire Doug Peterson immediately. I'd keep Howie Roseman's firing digits on speed dial. This shit's embarrassing.
Oh, man.
Fuck the NFL. Call it a hot take, I don't care. Due to Corona Chan, they delayed the game again to Wednesday afternoon. This unique situation is due to a scheduling conflict with the Rockefeller Center tree lighting ceremony. Imagine that. This game should physically have never been played. It was terrible. You're shocked about the sloppiness? The Ravens were down over a third of their fucking team. They were starting RG3 in 2020. The outcome was predictable. The game would have been too if the Steelers bothered to give a shit.
The Pittsburgh Steelers got to be the only team in NFL history who's going 11-0, but makes you feel as if your team is sub 500. We've had like 7 or 8 heart attacks this season. It's a Pittsburgh tradition when watching our football team. Our offense seems to be in the Christmas spirit in the early days of December because everybody on our receiving room, whether it's a tight end or wide receiver, tends to have hands that are just for decoration. You might as well put them on a damn ornament. And then our quarterback, for some apparent reason, likes to throw the football into tight spaces or straight to the defense. This man clearly is Secret Santa out here throwing gifts, and our defense leads the league in like 20+ categories. But for some apparent reason, against Trace McSorley, we give up a 70-yard touchdown. This is ridiculous. I'm supposed to feel good about being 11-0, but I ain't feeling good.
Good job, NFL. You got your money in unsuspended game. Who needs a decent product? You'll just pat yourselves on the back for allegedly doing a good job. I didn't know they became North Korea. Next, they'll say we've always been at war with East Asia. This shit show of a chapter deserves an equally shitty lol cow of the week. So many choices to choose from. The Dallas Cowboys. Or whatever the fuck this play was. Even a Madden player wouldn't
What
hold
is
his
that,
shit.
though?
Manny Schmeta, a journalist in name only, claims other people's work as his own and goes as far as to stalk a GM's kid. Way to get that
What?
scoop, man. Anthony Lynn. For some of the worst clock management I have ever seen week in and week out. And the NFL. Not just for the bullshit involving the Denver Broncos, but for the Steelers-Ravens shit show that kept unfolding. What is an incubation period? No one's surprised the winner is the NFL. It's not even close. Once the COVID debacle
80%.
started multiplying, nothing compares. The Shield is itching for a low count win.
80%. Let's see these guys. So Brett Coleman. Shout out to all of these guys as well. This is a really fun episode to look at. Different to the usual as well. Does he do these feature episodes like every single year, or was this just because he had the cold? He thought he had COVID, but he had like a cold recently. I like this guy, he was funny. People have suggested this guy before actually. I've had this guy suggested a few times recently to react to his videos.
When God's bloodlust is insatiable, let's just get this over with.
What? It's gonna be full of COVID, isn't it?
Unit lost.
Career ending. What? Career ending? Yo, what?
Unit lost.
Shipley may have. Oh shit! What was the injury? Knee injury.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Oh, season. Fucking hell. Just COVID.
Unit lost.
Legend, man. Love that. Love that. Wait, did he say he beat it, actually? I don't want to say it if he didn't say he beat it. Oh, I thought he said he beat it. That's sad, man. Wishing him luck then, honestly. Kicks ass, bro. Honestly.
Lost.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. Cancer is a bitch, man.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Indicate torn ACL.
And thus ends another day where I think the gods are simply cruel bastards. Will we ever find peace in this world?
That is shocking. That is shocking. I love this commentator so much. His voice just seems like it's just legendary. I've asked it before and people had mentioned it, but his voice just seems legendary, man. I don't want to talk about it. I guess I should comment. Lie died when Brett said cover 0 people. Urinating tree of ESPN was run by the fans. It's nice being a Falcons fan. I'll let Mr. Jack Daniels have a word on that. These guys are turning into the new Sports Center. I'd watch a Sports Center with these personalities. Yeah, this is a fun episode, actually. It's different to usual, but I enjoyed it. A 30-minute for what felt like a 32-day week. Perfection. Forget Avengers Endgame. This is the greatest crossover in history. This wasn't long enough. Now that's epic. Had everyone, I tell you what, had literally everyone. The video everyone needed. This is the guy that's been suggested a lot to me, though. I don't know what I could react to him of his, but maybe I can check him out. I don't know if people would want that, but I've had him suggested quite a lot. But actually, I want to see the standings as well. NFL standings. So the Bills doing good. That's a close one actually between the Dolphins and the Bills. The Chiefs are running away with it there. Steelers as well. Browns are doing well still though. I mean, they've got a good record. But the Steelers, man, look at that. So their points for and points against are ridiculous. Jeez, man. Then you've got the Titans and the Colts very close. Now let's look at the NFC East, mate. This one is so funny, honestly. They've also got a chance, which is absolutely hilarious. They're also bad, like such awful records as well. Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. You got the Seahawks and the Rams and the Cardinals. Actually, even the 46ers. This is a close one. Flipping now. The Packers running away with it there, and the Saints doing bits there as well. So yeah, it's interesting looking at that, but bit of a different sports ball for this one, for like compared to usual. But I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, is this like a regular thing that happens like once a year, or was Tree just like still ill from the previous week? I don't know, but thanks for suggesting this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Getting closer to the playoffs now, I'm excited to see what happens in sports ball, like what the episodes are like then, and also I'm just excited to actually just watch games live because I said I'm going to start streaming once the playoffs start. So yeah, that can't come sooner, but hopefully you guys enjoy this reaction. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.